Elon Musk loves to talk about space travel. He often says that spreading humanity across the universe is necessary for the survival of human consciousness, whatever that means. Let's pause for a moment and pretend that his idea isn't insane, which it is. If humanity actually tried to leave Earth and travel to another star, what would that actually look like? The closest planet that might support life is Proxima Centauri B, not Mars. And it's about 4.2 light years away. With the fastest spacecraft humanity has ever built, it would take roughly 75,000 years to get there. 75,000 years. That's an entire civilization living and dying inside a spaceship, zipping into the big dark void. But let's imagine we tried anyway. What kind of vessel would we need? Hey, if you enjoy thought-provoking or entertaining content about adventure and innovation, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow this humble channel, and I certainly can't do it without your help. Most people think the biggest challenge about long-term space travel would be managing oxygen. But oxygen management isn't the hardest part. The real problem is systems. A spacecraft traveling for thousands of years would need an incredibly complex life support system. Plants or algae to recycle oxygen, hydroponic agriculture to produce food, water filtration systems that never fail, and then there are the small things that destroy big machines. Leaks, metal fatigue, microfractures, even opening airlocks for repairs, which would be frequent and necessary, would release precious atmosphere and will happen thousands of times. Every repair would cost resources. Every failure would cascade throughout the system. The truth is, no spacecraft or even machine humanity has ever built has operated perfectly for even a few decades. But for the sake of this thought experiment, let's imagine the impossible. Our imaginary ship works perfectly. Cut to, the ship has been traveling for 1,000 years. To understand that span of time, imagine looking backwards from right now, this moment. 1,000 years ago was around 1000 AD. The Viking explorer Leif Erikson had only recently reached the coast of North America. Much of Europe was still in the Middle Ages. There were no nations as we know them today. No electricity, no industry, no modern science. That's the amount of time and innovation that has passed in the last 1,000 years. Now imagine the same amount of time passing forward on our spaceship. The ship has traveled for a millennia. Against all odds, all is still good in this scenario. Everything is working perfectly. The ecosystem is stable, food grows, air circulates, water is recycled. The crew survives by replacing itself with newer humans. Generations have come and gone. And then, one day, someone has a brilliant idea. A young entrepreneur realizes that food production could be more efficient. Instead of the agriculture team distributing food directly, why not create a central market system? A company could manage distribution. Food could be bought and sold. Efficiency would improve. Wealth is created. Another visionary looks around at the housing system. All of the living quarters are identical. Efficient, yes, but so boring. Why not combine some of the rooms to create luxury apartments? People who work harder could earn access to larger living spaces, perhaps even private gardens. The idea spreads. Soon, competing developers appear. Luxury housing becomes a booming industry on our spaceship. After all, do we really need all that room devoted to agriculture? Some of that square footage could become fine dining establishments or entertainment spaces, premium housing, and suddenly the ship has an economy. At first, everything seems fine. The system rewards innovation. Some people grow wealthy. Others work harder and try to move up. But slowly, a monumental shift begins. Areas once used to grow food become luxury housing. Water, once shared by everyone, becomes privately controlled. Some crew members accumulate resources, others struggle despite working longer and harder than ever before. Eventually, the ship contains two different classes of people, those who manage wealth and those who maintain the systems that keep everyone alive. And at the very top, sits someone in a vast apartment with a private garden and a small stream of fresh water flowing through their living room. Outside of that apartment, people are sleeping in corridors. Food is scarce. Air filtration systems are overdue for maintenance. But the owner of the luxury suite shrugs. Those people suffering should have planned better. They chose the wrong profession. They could have become entrepreneurs. Sound absurd? It should. Because introducing a profit-driven economy into a closed life support system would be catastrophic. On a spaceship, resources must be managed scientifically, not financially. No one would allow oxygen production to be privatized. No one would allow water access to depend on wealth. No one would gamble with the systems keeping everyone alive. It would be obvious. The ship would collapse into chaos that would quickly mean death for all. In 1966, futurist Buckminster Fuller coined a phrase that changed how many scientists thought about our planet. He called Earth Spaceship Earth. His point was simple. Humanity is traveling through space on a vessel with a closed life support system. The atmosphere provides oxygen. The oceans regulate temperature. Forests stabilize climate and generate rainfall. Soil produces food. And unlike our imaginary spacecraft, these systems were once astonishingly resilient. For billions of years, they maintained a balance until these weird human animals introduced something new, an economic system that treats life support systems as resources to exploit. In the mid-20th century, a geochemist named Claire Patterson made a shocking discovery. In fact, I've covered this legend in another video that I'll link in the description. Check it out because you owe Mr. Patterson way more than you know. While trying to determine the age of the Earth, Claire Patterson made a bizarre discovery. The entire planet had somehow been contaminated with lead. The source was leaded gasoline. Oil companies knew about the dangers, but profit was prioritized over life, over all life. The evidence was buried and hidden. Patterson spent decades fighting industry to expose the truth. Eventually, leaded gasoline was banned. One scientist had forced the most powerful industries on Earth to stop poisoning the atmosphere. His work revealed something unsettling. Industrial civilization had begun altering the chemistry of the entire planet with no regard for anyone. Fast forward to today. Water systems around the planet are under pressure. Aquifers are being drained, rivers diverted, watersheds polluted. And in many places, corporations have been quietly buying water rights all over the world. One of the most revealing statements about this mindset came from former Nestle chairman Peter blah blah blah, who argued that the idea that water is a human right was extreme. In his view, water should be treated like any other commodity, something owned, priced, sold. But that logic collapses instantly inside a spaceship. No one would allow a private company to own the ship's oxygen or water. No one would allow someone to profit from restricting access to drinking water, because everyone aboard would understand something simple. Water is life. You may remember this phrase, which was echoed by indigenous water protectors at Standing Rock. Water is life. The water protectors understood the value of clean water and peacefully protested on their own sacred ancestral land. And they were met with extreme violence, which often looked like attempted murder, as private security teams attacked unarmed people to protect profit with no regard for clean water, something far more critical than fossil fuel. The same story is playing out with forests and soil and the atmosphere itself. Air pollution, deforestation, industrial agriculture, all slowly weakening the natural systems that sustain life. And when these systems begin to fail, someone always proposes a product to solve the problem. Air purifiers, carbon offsets, bottled water, plastic solutions to problems created by plastic. But there is no such thing as an earth-friendly product. Every product requires extraction, mining, manufacturing, shipping, packaging, and eventually a trip to the landfill. Products cannot replace ecosystems. No technology humanity has ever created can replicate the elegance of Earth's natural systems that work for free and could be eternal. The good news is that the solution to many of our biggest problems is surprisingly simple. Protect forest, protect water, protect soil. Stop destroying ecosystems faster than they can recover. In many cases, the best action is the hardest for a modern civilization to even imagine. Do less. And whenever possible, do nothing. Leave wild places alone. Visit, enjoy, admire, leave no trace. Allow natural systems to heal, because given time, they will. One thing I believe is critical is we have to stop listening to billionaires and corporate leaders and understand that every bit of advice they offer comes with a built-in conflict of interest. Instead, listen to people who want to restore Earth's systems, protect and rebuild our forest, and ensure clean water everywhere. The modern economy, as it currently functions, is not compatible with long-term survival of Earth's life support systems. It depends on and requires endless extraction from a finite planet. That math does not work. Eventually, something breaks or depletes. Economies collapse, civilizations change, new systems emerge. The only question is whether we change before the damage becomes irreversible. Humanity dreams of building a spaceship capable of sustaining life for thousands of years. But we already have one, and it's amazingly perfect and unique throughout the universe. It's a blue planet orbiting a small star in a quiet corner of the galaxy, and for billions of years it has worked perfectly. The greatest survival challenge humanity will ever face is not escaping Earth, it's learning how to live on it and be happy with less. Thanks for watching. McNutt out.